what are we expecting out of your Beavs this weekend? They're going on the road to the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Off of a really tough loss where the final score is slightly misleading. It was a 16-point game, and they were able to make a furious comeback late. UNLV throws a bad pick. Cal is also not that good. They're close in a lot of these games, but let's not sit here and act like they're losing to juggernauts. They're losing to NC State. NC State's terrible. I don't really know what to make of the game, but what would a win mean this weekend for Brave for Beaver fans?
Massive. It'd be massive.
Yeah, just to let everybody take a deep sigh of relief.
Well, I think it actually instills confidence. I said this last week against UNLV. Show me something, and I'm not blaming the entire loss on Trent Bray. We know how devastated with injuries they are. They got some guys back. They made that a ball game. They put themselves in a spot to try to tie it, or if not take the lead. What were they down? What was it? It was
33.
They needed a 2-point conversion.
17 or something. Yeah.
So they had themselves in a spot to potentially try to tie the game. It would be huge. I think Cal's the better football team right now, despite what the record is. Somebody I had heard a couple of the first segments of Danny Dusty. I think Rust had said something we had said of like, Cal, if you look at it, has a real argument of like, how have we lost any game? And Dusty said, what? Kind of. And then he looked at the point difference and said, oh, they're plus 37. It just doesn't make any sense what Cal's record is.
Turnovers have been a big issue for Cal.
So have special teams.
Yeah.
So I think it would be massive for Trent Bray and Oregon State to go down there and get a win. I picked Cal minus the 10 in large because I want to be wrong. I feel like this team has not trended in the right direction. They have not had the most success at Cal recently, but I think it would be huge for Trent Bray. And I think Oregon State fan, despite what their record is, to just kind of take a deep sigh of like, okay, our coach can still pull things out even when we're not at our most healthiest.
Well, that was the one thing I know that you guys didn't like, the positive Patty that I was on Monday talking about some of the aspects of the UNLV game. But I remember having this conversation last Friday about like, hey, you said as a head coach, you can fix this stuff, that this isn't talent, this isn't injuries, we're just not fitting the right gaps, and if we tighten up our scheme, we could be better. UNLV had one of the best rushing offenses in the country, and you held them to, I can't remember what the total rushing yards, 160 or 170 total yards rushing. Like, I thought you were decent against the run at times, and so I thought that was a direct connection to Bray and what he said, and they worked it, and so that's one of the things that leaves me somewhat optimistic of this being a tight game, as I did think they showed you progress in that regard. Mm-hmm. And Cal's definitely going to want to run the football. The other side of it is just offensively is where you lost that game, in my mind, to UNLV. You had the lead at halftime. You forced them to a 3-and-out to open the second half. You had the momentum is on your side. You have the lead. You have the ball. Your defense is playing good. And then you went the next 5 drives, or the first 5 drives of the second half, I think you ran a total of 22 plays, and one of them was a turnover. Like, that's barely 4 plays a drive, man. That's it. You had no consistency. You couldn't move the ball. The run game kind of disappeared. They turned it over once, handed UNLV a short field, and the thing just kind of snowballed on you. You were in that ball game at halftime, and you were in that ball game early in the third quarter until your offense just finally hit the absolute neutral button and then couldn't do anything until it was too late, and then you tried a furious comeback. To me, that's the bigger question now at this point in the season is, what are you going to get offensively? How many turnovers are you going to have? Is Giovanni McCoy going to throw a couple of bad picks? Yeah. I know that they want to run the football, but finding some level of consistency where it feels like on that side of the ball, they're really boom or bust. You have a drive in the first half where it's Giovanni McCoy with a 75-yard or whatever it was touchdown run, scrambling around. Look at that athlete. There he goes, long touchdown run. And then you can't pick up a first down to save your life in the second half. It's boom or bust right now. They need to be more consistent this weekend.
Well, the tough thing is Cal is 14th in the country in turnovers lost. They don't turn the football over a whole lot. The other part of this is styles make fights. Now, maybe we should have been more aware of this with the choder a couple weeks ago. Don't get choded. They got choded.
They did get choded.
This is kind of just breaks down to how you feel about the strengths of the team versus the weaknesses. Cal's passing defense is not good in the ACC. We know Oregon State's offense is not how they want to win football games.
No.
Cal's rush defense, top 4 in the ACC. How does Oregon State want to win football games? So do they establish the offensive line? Do they have a ground game? And can you create turnovers against a team that largely has not turned the football over amongst one of the best in the country in this regard? And so it's like, McCoy, what is he going to be this week? There's a chance, again, going into a game where you say, hey, their pass defense not very good. you should expose this.
This is an opportunity, yeah.
But Clemens had a big drop last week. It
Yeah.
hasn't been the greatest since his couple toe tappers a few weeks back. I don't know how much. Terry's been really good for them. And Oregon State's backup running back since Griffin went out, Allah.
Yeah.
That kid, I thought he ran really well.
Yeah, he runs hard.
So they seem to kind of still have two running backs, though Hankerson is clearly the better player. You got to get the ground game because I just cannot buy that Giovanni McCoy is going to win you a football game.
I'm with you on that.
And right now, that's the matchup. It's does your passing attack expose what Cal's defense weakness is, and that's their pass defense. They're geared up to stop the run. That's what they know they need to do. And so can Giovanni McCoy win you a game? I just think back to Gunderson at camp, and he didn't say it outright, but I thought he said it without saying it of, we'll win doing whatever it takes. Like, if that means we win 10-7, we will do what it takes to win 10-7 because I think he kind of knew what's ahead of him offensively and what their challenges were going to be. This is one of them, and you need your challenges to not be as challenging.
It's interesting of when this weekend to get you to potentially 5-3 with San Jose State and Air Force on the horizon the next 2 weeks.
I'm not overlooking San Jose.
No, you don't have to.
Air Force,
you don't have to at all.
Win,
I'm just saying the feeling going into those 2 games 5-3 instead of 4-4, and now like, oh God, are we going to beat San Jose State? Like, it's just big opportunity for Trent Bray this weekend. We'll see what they do. That is a 1:00 game tomorrow on ESPN2. Beavers down at Cal.